make them nice. Anything's cheaper and anything's better than what's going on now in Germany and other countries. So Belgium is a beautiful city and an amazing place, magnificent buildings. I was there many, many years ago, and I had always this incredible image. And a number of months ago, I made the statement, something to the effect, Belgium's a hellhole. And I was badly criticized. They said, what a terrible thing. And then they had the massive problem in Belgium. And people said, Trump was right. Trump was right. I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right. But you look at what's going on in Paris. You look at what's going on in different places, all over, different places. You know it. I know it. They know it. They don't want to talk about it. We don't want to have these problems. And we've already got them. Look at this weekend. We don't want to have these problems. So what I'm saying is it's a temporary ban, in particular for certain people coming from certain horrible, where you have tremendous terrorism in the world. You know what those places are. But we have to put a stop to it. We have to put a stop to it until such time as we can figure out what is going on. Because right now, we don't have a clue what's going on, folks. We don't have a clue. We don't know even a little bit what's going on. And we have to be the smart country now. We've been the dummies for too long. We have to be the smart. We have to be the brilliant country. We have to show, and we have to help, and we have to take care of people, but we have to be smart. With the kind of money that we owe, $19 trillion, going to $21 trillion very shortly because of the omnibus budget that was passed, going to $21 trillion, we can't be doing this. And this isn't even the money. This is beyond the money. Because even if you had a small percentage of people coming in thinking like this person, who again was born here, but his parents weren't, and his ideas weren't born here. His ideas were born from someplace else. And in speaking to numerous governors over the last few days, really a great group of people, and in speaking to them, they really are beside themselves because they say people are being put in our states and they have absolutely nothing to say about it. They don't know who they are, where they are. They don't know where they're being placed. And even from the standpoint of law enforcement, that's a bad thing because they can't watch, they can't see what's going on. And we aren't vigilant and we aren't smart. And we have to go and we have to maybe check respectfully the mosques, and we have to check other places. Because this is a problem that if we don't solve it, it's going to eat our country alive, okay? It's going to eat our country alive. And we can be weak, and we can be ineffective like we are now. Right now, everything is political correctness. If you watched Obama's speech yesterday, it was really all about political correctness. There's nothing wrong with being strong. There's nothing wrong with being smart. It was all about political correctness. And we have to make sure, thank you. We have to make sure, so important, that we now go down the right path. Because we're going down a wrong path, and our country is in serious trouble, okay? All right. Serious trouble. Now, we have a lot of things going on in addition, and right now there is no addition because of what happened. But in addition, we have things going on that are terrible. We're being eaten alive on the jobs market. Our jobs are being taken out of our country. If you look at what's happened, as an example with NAFTA, yes, right? NAFTA has taken our jobs out of our country, brought them to other places. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, a very respectful person. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, somebody just said, and you're right, I was fully endorsed. I think it was the earliest endorsement ever by the National Rifle Association, the NRA, so that was good. Thank you. So when I started on June 16th, almost 1 year ago, thank you. I always say, be nice to our protester. Be nice to our protester. Be very gentle. Be very, very gentle. All right. Thank you. I have to tell you, by the way, is there any better place to be than a Trump rally? In all fairness, right? Is there any better place to be? I'll tell you. You know, a friend of mine said to me, look at this crowd up there. It's packed. I can hardly see them up there. There's so many lights. Thank you. This place is packed. But a friend of mine, very, very successful guy, came up to me, and he saw the rally in Dallas where we had 20,000, 21,000 people in the Mavericks Arena. He saw the rally in Mobile, Alabama, where we had 35,000 people. He sees these massive rallies. And look at this today, and a lot of people outside trying to get in. Would anybody like to give up their seat, let some people in? No? So, but he saw these big places, and this is one of the most successful people. And he came with me, and he said, how the hell do you do that in front of so many people? And I told him, and I absolutely mean this, I said, it's easy, because there's so much love in the room. It's true. There's so much love in these rooms. It's incredible. And, you know, it's really true. I mean, it's easy in a sense because there is great love. And it's people that want to see our country do great things, do wonderful things, be strong again. They want their jobs back. They want their wages to go up. They want their wages to go up. They want to manufacture things again. You look at the manufacturing in our country. When I won New York and Pennsylvania and Connecticut and Maryland and all these different places, especially. But when I won New England, we won tremendous. We won Massachusetts. That's because Tom Brady likes me, but, you know. But we won so many different states. And I have statisticians. They love their job. It's the most boring job, but they love it, right? And I'd say, give me the information on New York. And I'd look at New York State. Almost a 50% reduction in manufacturing jobs. They left. Why did they leave? Because of NAFTA. Signed by who? Bill Clinton. He signed NAFTA. Now, you know, Clinton went through it, but what he caused other presidents in the later years, because jobs were just sucked out of our country. And they moved to other places, mostly to Mexico. They moved to other places. And then you look at what China's done to us in terms of their devaluations, and nobody even mentions it. Nobody talks about it. We are being killed. Our companies are being destroyed because of devaluation from China and other places. I use China because it's the greatest abuser, but everybody. China is the biggest, but everybody. They devalue and devalue. They're having a hard time. They devalue. They take more of our business. And then they bring product into our country, and they put it in. They dump it in some cases. Look at what's happening to steel, where they dump massive amounts of steel. They're driving our steel industry out of business, all right? And our workers out of business. But they bring their product in, no tax. If you want to go into China, and if you're a manufacturer, and there are plenty of them, they can't get their product into China because the tax is massive. And even without the tax, China won't let them get their product in. We are being misled by people that don't know what they're doing, folks. Now, a lot of the Republicans, a lot of the conservatives, you know, when I was in the start of the race, they sort of gave that one up. I mean, Jeb as an example. He's a nice person. No, he is. But he would stand there and he would say, he is not a conservative. And I said, who cares? We want to make good deals. We want to make good deals. I don't care. But he'd say I'm not because I don't believe in free trade. But you see, I do believe in free trade. But to have free trade, you have to have smart people on your side doing the negotiation. And we have political hacks that don't know what they're doing, or worse than that. Who knows why? Because some of these deals are so bad, you almost say this is not just stupidity. This has to be a bigger reason and a much worse reason and a much more sinister reason. How can it be possible that we allow these horrible deals to be made? How can it be possible? But Jeb and others would say he doesn't believe in free trade. Okay, you ready? I believe in free trade. But the other day, one of the anchors asked me, well, what do you think about free trade? I said, it's great, but I like other things. What's your favorite trade? I said, you know what my favorite trade is? I want to make good deals. That's my favorite trade. I don't care. You call it free trade. You can call it fair trade. You can call it XYZ trade. I don't care what you call it. We'll call it. There's so many different ways of making deals. I want to make great deals for the United States, for the people of the United States. I want to bring our jobs back. I want to get our income up. I want to save Social Security where everyone else wants to cut the hell out of it. I want to save you Medicare. But, you know, it's true. They said, this happened like a month ago. I don't know. It was just something they were saying, what kind of a deal? How would you describe? And I said to myself, wow, I think I'm going to say it. And I said, I want to make good deals. That's what I want to do. I want to make good deals. And I don't care what label you call them. But we are making the worst deals. We are having the blood sucked out of our country. You know, I give this expression, and I told this story a couple of times, which I find interesting. Who the hell knows, if you will, but I'll give it to you anyway. Should I tell it? And he's probably watching. But a friend of mine is very tough. He's a very tough guy, a good guy, got a good heart. But he's a very tough man. And he was diagnosed with a terminal illness, totally. He was going to last for a month. And that was like over a year ago. But he was going to last for a month. But he's tough as hell. And he didn't believe it. And he said, I'm going to beat it. I'm going to beat it. And what happened is he kept fighting and kept fighting. And that was, boy, it's been a long time. But he was supposed to be around for 3 or 4 weeks. And he's around now, and it's been way more than a year. And I'll call every couple of days. How you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Donald. I'm telling you, I'm doing really good. And I said to myself, it's amazing how strong, right? Some people. And I said to myself, it's a little bit like our country. We're having the blood sucked out of us. We're having horrible things happen where we're allowing people into our country that don't deserve to be in our country, and bad things are going to be happening. And I know people are going to criticize me. They're going to say, oh, what a horrible thing that is. What a horrible thing. And in a year or 2 or 3 from now, they'll say, you know, Trump was right, but he's right now building buildings someplace. Okay? I'll be right. I don't want to be right. Boy, I don't want to be right. But it reminded me of that. It reminded me of all these horrible trade deals where a China can suck out billions of dollars. They can do whatever they want to their currency. They can manipulate their currency to the point where it's impossible for us to compete with them, our companies. I mean, you take a look. We don't make televisions anymore. We don't make so many things anymore. We don't make them. You look at other countries. You look at South Korea. I like South Korea. You look at these countries. You look at Japan. You look at all of this. Look at Saudi Arabia. We protect Saudi Arabia. We protect them. They pay us peanuts. They wouldn't be there. They pay us peanuts. We have military bases where we actually pay rent. We're paying rent. We're paying rent to protect other people. We're paying rent. Okay, think of it. Just think of it. Go home and think about it. But listen. So we have Japan, and it's so sad. And by the way, just to finish up, my friend, it's amazing that our country can continue to survive. But you know, eventually, it's not going to survive, just so you understand. Eventually, it's not. This guy is an amazing guy. Our country is an amazing country. It's amazing that our country can be abused so badly and not survive. It's just amazing, and continue to survive. But it's not going to continue to survive like this. It can't. It's impossible. It's impossible. And by the way, before we even get on to the other subject that I want to discuss, judges, Supreme Court judges. We talk about survival of a country. And immediately when I started talking about the survival of the country, I said to myself, well, let's mention it now, whether it's an appropriate location or not. Supreme Court justices. We lost a great one in Judge Scalia. We have to replace Judge Scalia with a conservative, great judge. It could be that the next president will have 3 choices, and could be 4, and it could even be 5, record-setting stuff, just by the way it's looking. I mean, who would have thought Scalia would be gone? That was supposed to be for years, 10 years left, 12 years left, 14, 15 years left, and gone, boom. It could be the next president's going to have 5 judges, probably 3, could very well be 4, could even be 5 now. If Hillary gets in, or whoever it is, because I can't believe she's going to be allowed to run, to be honest with you. But if Hillary gets in, you will have a Supreme Court that will destroy our country as we know it. Just remember that. It will destroy. We will have Venezuela. You see what's happening in Venezuela. We're getting fairly close to that anyway. But we will have Venezuela. We will have something that you won't even recognize. So some people love me. I mean, my problem is they love me or they hate me. They either love me or they hate me. But some people, they love Trump. They'll do anything for Trump, and some people don't like me too much. But I'll tell you what, just remember, Supreme Court judges, because it's one of the, I always say defense, most important, always defense, borders, defense. But Supreme Court judges is so important. No, don't worry about it. We're going to build the wall. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. We're going to build the wall. We're going to build the wall. And by the way, a few weeks ago, I got endorsed by 16,500 Border Patrol agents. They've never endorsed a presidential candidate before. And I said to them, how important is the wall? I want to be sure. You know, the White House, by the way, did you see in the White House? They're approving a major increase in the size of their so-called wall. Yeah, get them out of here. Get them out of here, folks. Hey, by the way, how great are our police? Are we lucky? How great are our police? Who do not get enough credit, folks. They do not get enough credit. All right, officer, thank you very much. So the White House, they're building a much higher fence, wall, whatever you want to call it, because they don't want people coming in. So, you know, you can't have it all these different ways. And I hate to say it, but if you look back into history a long time ago, look at what Hillary wanted to build. It was a wall or a fence or it was something. I don't think she ever knew because I'm not sure she really understands the difference too much. But she wanted something built. And you know, they were actually going to build it. And you know why they couldn't build it? Because they couldn't get their environmental impact statements approved. Can you believe it? There was probably a toad or a snail or a snake, maybe a rattlesnake in the way. And it's true. They could not get their environmental impact statements approved. And I've had so many approved for jobs, but they couldn't get it approved. Now think about this. China, who's taken our wealth, has taken tremendous amounts of our wealth. China should love us, right? And I love China. And by the way, Mexico, great. China, great. They're all great. I wish our leaders knew what they were doing because we should be doing to them what they're doing to us, folks. I have no grudges. I have no grudges. China should love us. But you know what? They're making a fortune off us. They're taking our jobs, our money, everything. You know, we owe China $1.8 trillion right now. Do you know? Think about it. We owe them money. They're taking everything and we owe them money. It's supposed to be the other way around. Japan, we owe $1.6 trillion. $1 trillion. We owe them money. They put their cars in here by the millions. By the millions. You got to see Los Angeles. You'll see the largest ships in the world. You'll see cars coming like it's NASCAR. And Brian France, by the way, endorsed me, but we won't even mention that. Brian France is a great guy. NASCAR. But it looks like NASCAR. They're coming off those boats. So think of it. We have all of these places. They benefit by us, and we don't benefit by them. But we owe Japan $1.6 trillion. So they sell their cars, we owe them money. That's like a magic act, okay? That's like a magic act. It's supposed to be the other way around. So here's the story, folks. We're going to be so strong again. We're going to be so smart. I brought up a couple of things, and the press never reports this. This is something. So you remember a couple of months ago, I was on CNN. And again, I'm a business guy. I've done great things. I built a great company and all of that stuff, right? But, thank you. Great company. But here's the thing. So Wolf Blitzer is interviewing me, and he said, "What do you think of NATO?" And I'm saying to myself, I'm not sure that question's ever been asked of me before. But I said two things. I said, number one, it's obsolete. Okay? And I said, number two, we have all these nations, and from what I understand, they don't pay their bills. And, you know, in real estate, would say they're delinquent. But they're delinquent. They're not paying. They're not supposed to. They're not paying. Some aren't paying. Some aren't paying what they're supposed to be paying. And we have agreements. Now, we're supposed to defend them. We're supposed to go into World War III to defend these people, and they're not even paying us. So this isn't 40 years ago, and this isn't 20 years ago. This is now. We can't do these things anymore. So they said, what do you think of NATO? I said, obsolete, because it doesn't cover terrorism, among other things. But I said, because it's really not set up. In fact, they even have the wrong countries, if you want to really be technical, right, for terrorism. So I said, you know, Wolf, it's obsolete. And he's a good guy, by the way. It's obsolete. And a lot of countries aren't paying us what they should be paying because we're protecting these countries. We have the seal of the United States in these countries. So Russia, which was originally the Soviet Union when it was done, now it's Russia, but Russia's plenty powerful, so let's call that a draw because, you know, it was originally done primarily because of the Soviet Union, which is different, but now because of their military, right? And frankly, Putin has built up their military again and again and again. Their military is much stronger. He's doing nuclear. We're not doing anything. Our nuclear is old and tired, and his nuclear is tippy-top from what I hear. Better be careful, folks, okay? You better be careful. So what I said is this. I got killed by the press. Oh, Trump said NATO's obsolete. And Hillary said, Trump wants to get rid of NATO. I don't want to get rid of NATO. That's what I mean. I say something like that, and it was totally misinterpreted by the press, purposely. So I said very simply, it's obsolete because it doesn't cover terrorism, and people aren't paying up, okay? Fairly good statement. And it turned out that just about everybody other than 5 countries, and probably those 5 maybe are also not paying up like they're supposed to. And we're losing a fortune. We're spending a fortune on NATO.